this edition of our Take 10 webcast. I'm Nicola Thompson, Programmes Manager at the Automotive 30% Club. In this webcast series, I will be asking questions to leading women in the automotive industry. The aim is to get to know these women a little bit more, both professionally and personally. The format of this webcast is simple: 10 questions in 10 minutes to one inspiring woman. In this episode, I'm delighted to be joined by Clare Wright, HR Director at Jardine Motors Group. Clare was the recipient of the Inclusive Leaders Special Recognition Award in last year's Inspiring Automotive Awards. On the 7th of October, we will be holding this year's awards ceremony, so it is great to speak to someone who was recognised last year. So welcome, Clare.
Thank you, Nicola.
Yeah, thanks for agreeing to take part in this episode of the Take 10 webcast. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, so if you're ready, I'm going to start asking you questions. Okay, here we go. So number one, how long have you worked in the automotive sector?
In total, around about 16 years, but I had two stints really. So I started my career in a Volkswagen Audi dealership many years ago. And during that time progressed my career and was then invited to go and work with Volkswagen UK for one of their consultancies. So I worked in dealership and then moved to consulting, and then decided to leave the industry, and I've done lots of things since then, and then came back just over 6 years ago, where I've been with Jardine Motors for 6 years.
Okay, and what would you say is the favourite part of your job?
Really the people, getting out and about. You know, we're really lucky now that we are able to get back out and about, meeting our teams and being in the business is where we make the biggest difference. So that would definitely be my number one thing that I enjoy about the job.
Okay, and what does your average day look like?
Yeah, there's no average day, if I'm honest, Nick. I wish there was. Whilst we often every day have a plan to run by in a full diary, generally every day is slightly different. So, you know, some days it's very much about strategic planning and working with the business on what we need to do over and above a people perspective, so our overall business strategy. And then other days it will be, you know, me holding meetings with my team, one-to-ones with my team, one-to-ones with managers. So it's really very varied, and that's part of, you know, the reason I love the job so much, because it is very varied.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously you've had quite a long career. You said, like, obviously automotive for 16 and out of it. So can you name a defining career highlight?
Yeah, I guess I think probably it would be my early career in automotive. I was really lucky to work for a founder who was very supportive of me, and I was very young at the time, but he really did mentor me and support me. So when I was sort of 21, I was on his senior management team, and you know, back then in those days that was really unheard of in automotive. So I think that would be the defining moment, in that I guess he was the person that made me very commercial, which has really helped me throughout my whole career in all the jobs that I've done.
Yeah, definitely. So on to the next question. So what makes you happy both personally and professionally?
Personally, a couple of things. You know, just being with friends and family. I'm really lucky that I've got a great group of friends and family, and I have two amazing little toy poodles who delight me every single day with their funny little personalities. Yeah. Certainly, when you've had a bad day, going home to them makes a difference.
Oh, it does.
And then from a work perspective, it's just making a difference and seeing the difference that you make in the business. You know, I'm always really satisfied when I see people progress and do well, and that would be my biggest thing that makes me happy in a work perspective.
Okay, and do you have any future aspirations?
Yeah, definitely. My career, I've again been fortunate in my career that I've done HR and senior leadership commercial roles. So ultimately, you know, my career plan is eventually to do a COO or CEO job in the future.
That would be amazing if it's in the automotive industry as well.
Yes,
Clare. Definitely. So what advice would you give to a woman wanting to progress in the automotive sector?
Yeah, a couple of things really. I think women now fortunately have a bit more of an advantage in the understanding that, you don't have to necessarily be passionate about cars. Automotive is about being passionate about customer and team, and having really great leadership skills. And one of the advantages that I think most women have is that we are far more tuned into emotional intelligence, and there's this whole thing now about being a human leader and really being in touch with people, which again I think women are better at by and large. So I think I'd say, don't put any barriers in place for yourself, just aim high. And I guess the other big thing for me, and it certainly resonates every time I'm mentoring people, is be yourself because someone else is taken. That whole thing of don't try and be somebody you're not, because I think that I can't even remember where I heard that quote from, but it's one that I love, because what people should be happy with is being themselves rather than trying to be something they're not.
Yeah, definitely.
But it would be, if you have a plan, think about what you want to do, ask for help and go and do it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so how did it feel to receive the Inclusive Leaders Special Recognition Award in the Inspiring Automotive Awards last year?
Yeah, it was incredibly humbling, Nicola. I was absolutely delighted. Didn't expect to get that level of recognition. It's been great in previous years being nominated and winning the general awards, but to get that special recognition was incredibly motivating, not only for me but also for the business. So yeah, it was very humbling, and I was astounded, and it was great to get the recognition.
Yeah, and well deserved. And what positive impact would you say that the win has had on yourselves, your colleagues, and the business as a whole?
I think in terms of the business and generally for me, it's just about that keeping going and recognising that you do have to put a lot of effort into this around the whole inclusion agenda. You have to keep going, and actually it pays off. So I think what it does is, when you get the external recognition with such a great award, like with Inspiring Automotive Women, which has a big reach, I think it just spurs other people on to say, actually, I'm going to do something a bit different and equally try and get recognised.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're on to our final question now, which obviously comes in 3 parts. So and I finish off every webcast with this. So could you recommend a book that you would encourage others to read?
Definitely. I think the Sheryl Sandberg Lean In book for women in particular is a really powerful book, very pragmatic, very realistic, doesn't, paint this picture that everything's going to be, perfect. And I think there's lots of great advice in there, and definitely recommend that book.
Okay. And can you tell us what your favourite film is?
I have to say, Nicola, it's one of the things I'm rubbish at favourites because I love everything. But it's going to sound very odd and probably will surprise people, but Mary Poppins definitely is my favourite film of all times.
Okay. I'm just imagining you now dancing along to it.
Oh yeah, singing away. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And can you say what song always gets you on the dance floor?
Again, there's lots and lots, but if you're really pushing me, I would say it was the Fat Back Band I Found Loving.
Sorry, what was that again, Claire?
Fat Back Band I Found Loving.
Oh right, I'll look that one
up. A good old 80s disco R&B tune, yeah, definitely.
Oh, fabulous. Right, I'm going to go and listen to that. Okay, well listen, Claire, thanks ever so much for taking part in this Take 10 webcast. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicola.
Bye.
Bye.